Hello and welcome to the Cincy Sports Pod with my host. Uh, I'm Tim Kraft and my host Jack Snyder. We'll be talking a national championship and a little bit of Reds, but let's start out with the national championship. What do you got for me, Jack?
Well, I think I'm very excited for this national championship. A lot of people, obviously, coming in, Auburn, Duke, Houston, Florida, all four one seeds were the four teams we got, and they produced two very awesome games. Obviously, Florida over Auburn and Houston over Duke, and what was an emphatic comeback, down 14 points late in the second half, ended up winning by three. Um, Personally, I loved all four one seeds. I thought they were awesome games. I'd say a lot of people didn't like that there weren't any Cinderellas, but high quality basketball is what I like to watch. So I was glad we got this. And I think Florida, like on our screen here, Walter Clayton Jr. on the left, LJ Cryer on the right. I mean, Walter Clayton is a beast. He's a big time bucket getter. He can get to the basket when he needs to, but he likes to settle for those threes, step back fallaways and he's cashing those most of the time. He's just a big time player. He's got ice in his veins, as they like to say, and I think he's going to be the key piece for the Gators. And I think it's going to be LJ Cryer for Houston as well. He had half of Houston's points at one point in the game against Duke. Sharpshooter from outside, and he likes to drive and hit those mid-range shots as well, and is also a pretty decent distributor of the basketball. So I think guard play is going to be a big factor. Also, Florida, Elijah Martin and Will Richard, and then Emmanuel Sharp and Milos Uzan kind of round out the trio of guards. And then I think it's also going to be the bigs down low as well. We saw Juwan Roberts of Houston had the tough task of guarding Cooper Flag. He played really well. It's tough to say who he's going to guard. I would expect him to guard Condon out of the gate, Alex Condon of Florida. I expect that to be a matchup in the starting five. Um, Tugler is going to start for Houston, I believe. Put him on Chinyelu. And then when Thomas Huck of Florida comes in, really good piece off the bench, can drive and step outside and hit the occasional three ball. Really good player for Florida. Then Javier Francis comes in for Houston. So I think it'll be a chess match of who matches up against two. And I think the coaching battle is really good. Kelvin Sampson, obviously much older, 69 years old. Todd Golden of Florida, only 39. Both guys in their first Final Four, both guys looking for the first national title. I think either way, it's going to be a really good game. But I do think Houston comes out on top, as they've stuck with this entire time. I had them winning my bracket, and I think they're going to take it all the way there. Obviously, as a Bearcat fan from the Big 12, would like to see the Houston boys succeed.
Unbelievable comeback down the stretch in that game. Many think it was a choke. I think it was a choke as well. Um, I saw in the post game presser, uh, Duke's coach, John Shire was talking about how they had only, and they'd played 38, 39 minutes. Well, there was a point in that game where they'd gone scoreless for 7 minutes on field goals. I mean, obviously they had free throw attempts, but I mean, you just can't go scoreless against Houston for 7 minutes. And even then, they were still up 10 with about 3 minutes to go, and it got down to seven towards the end there. I think when what was his name? Tyrese Proctor went to the free throw line, it was 67 to 61.
Hmm.
Um, so it's just a testament to what uh they've been down more this season. Houston knows how to come back from these deficits, 14-point deficit at one point. Um, just credit to Houston Cougars and Kelvin Sampson getting the job done. On the other side, um, it's really tough to defend this entire Florida team uh, because obviously at guard you got Walter Clayton Jr., but you also have who's their big that are Conrad. Um,
Uh, do you have Alex Condon and
yeah,
Thomas Huck?
Alex.
Yeah,
Yeah, Alex Condon and Hill.
Thomas Huck. He comes off the
Yeah,
bench.
Thomas Huck. They're really tough to defend when it comes inside. Had a big and one down the stretch that
Yes.
practically sealed the game against Auburn. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm excited for it tonight. Probably watching it with some buddies, and Definitely two heavyweights, and that's what you like to see in the national championship game.
Mhm. Exactly. I have to agree with you there. And I think part of the Houston game, I don't. People were saying it's a collapse. I agree with that somewhat. I don't 100% agree because they still made some shots. Con Knipple hit a three in the corner with like 2 minutes left to extend it to nine. So they were obviously not playing up to their standards, but we're still getting a bucket here and there until obviously like the final minute when they went scoreless. But I think it was more instead of like doing something dumb like throwing it out of bounds, although they did have a few of those. They did. I think it was more they didn't play aggressively. They just kind of dribbled the clock out a little bit. They're trying to like just get there instead of trying to win the game.
Get
And you
to the
clearly
finish
can't do
line
that against
without.
Houston. And clearly that's not going to work against Florida since Auburn led by 8 at halftime against Florida, and Florida was trailing by I think close to 10 against Texas Tech. So two teams that have faced comebacks. So it'd be interesting to, most importantly, who gets out to a hot start and see what the other team can do to overcome it.
One thought I had, Houston didn't really play a good first half.
Mm-mm.
Um, LJ Cryer was nearly all of their offensive production in the first half.
Mhm.
So Houston can't have a first half like they did against Duke, um, against this Florida team. Uh, it would be really tough to come back from the deficit they did against Duke. Obviously, uh, they had Malawach, who's a great shot blocker, but didn't have a good game by any stretch that game. But when you have 7 footers on Florida driving to the hoop, you have to be very methodical with the way that you do it. Um, drive, drive and kick is going to be huge in this game for Houston.
Yeah, I agree.
That Emmanuel Sharp hitting that big three when they were down uh, five was no, they were down.
I think they're down 6 at that
Yeah, they were
point
down 6. Yeah,
because that was after the Proctor missed the front end of the 1-and-1. And
yeah,
then on the inbounds play, Duke called timeout twice and then still couldn't get the ball inbounds and it got stolen.
yeah,
Tugler had that putback dunk. It's just like a crazy sequence that how you have that as Duke is just unexplainable. And but then you got to give credit to Houston in that position though.
for sure, for sure. We'll look at a few of the clutch players for Houston and Florida in this game. Really, it's not. Well, clearly it doesn't want to work. So we'll just talk about them.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously LJ Cryer, Emmanuel Sharp, and Tugler, huge guys for and then obviously Roberts for Houston. They all shot really well in the clutch. Obviously, Juwan Roberts and JoJo Tugler doing their work mostly on the inside, but LJ Cryer able to penetrate the defense and score with ease, um, whether it's a jump shot or just getting a layup inside, as well as Emmanuel Sharp's last name really fits him well. He shoots the three ball like really good. Down the stretch, like I believe he's like almost like 50% from three, maybe even higher. Um, so you can count on those two guys down the stretch. I felt as if what was his name? I was telling you he needed to drive more.
Oh,
Uh,
Milo Uzan.
yeah, Miles Uzan needs to be bigger down the stretch.
Hmm.
I feel like he could have driven the ball more during that Duke game, but he's gonna have to be uh better next game. I believe he only ended up with 10 points.
Yeah,
Um,
he didn't have his best game, only 3 of 10 from the field. He did deal with foul trouble early on, but especially with the challenges Florida presents, he's got to have a much better game tonight. I would agree with you on that one for sure.
and then you can go through the Florida like really clutch players that need to be
Yeah.
good down the stretch.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious Walter Clayton's number one guy. I mean, his performance against Auburn in the Final Four was just ridiculous. He had 34 total points, added 4 rebounds and 2 assists in 35 minutes, 11 of 18 from the field, 5 of 8 from three, and most of those shots are heavily contested as well. And he knocked down all 7 free throw attempts, so just outstanding. Obviously Elijah Martin, he had those 2 big time dunks. Those were pretty electric. He was 2 of 3 from deep, so he played really well in a good supporting role. And then Thomas Huck off the bench had 12 points in that semifinal against Auburn. I think those are the 3 main guys. And I think unlike one thing Golden is doing with his team that I like is I think Huck is, in my opinion, a better player than Condon or Chinulu, but bringing him off the bench brings them an offensive spark when they need it, and they have that defense and rebounding in to start the game, and then they can rotate however he wants down the stretch. So I like the fact he brings Huck off the bench because you have your 3 starting guards in there that should bring most of the offense anyway. But then as you get your pressed into the game, you can rotate him in and out and you can mix and match combinations. I think it's what Golden's doing coaching wise is pretty impressive. And obviously Walter Clayton leads the charge. And I think
Um,
if Florida's gonna win, he's gonna be the MVP. And I think if Cryer wins, he's gonna be the MVP. So
yeah, unless some other player explodes, I don't really see it being any other way other than the two guys on the screen. Obviously, there's a chance for other guys to do it, but they're all really good players. When I saw Elijah Martin dunk uh, with a few friends, we absolutely exploded.
yeah.
It was ridiculous. We needed to put that on replay like several times. Slow that down in slow motion. Woof. It was it was pretty awesome to
Yeah.
also see the reaction of the announcers on the call.
Mhm.
It was pretty cool for sure. I think we can move on to UC transfer portal players.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have Jack carry this segment because he knows more about this than I do. I did
Yeah, I
see
was pretty
the
active
Dan
on Twitter during class
Skillings.
today.
I did see the Dan Skillings transfer and also Rayvon Griffin, but you can take this over.
Yeah, obviously Dan and Ray. Well, actually, let's start with yesterday, or on Sunday night. Bearcats got 2 commitments. Kerr Kriisa, going to be his 6th year of college basketball, coming over from Kentucky, has spent time at Arizona and West Virginia before UK. So he's on his 4th school. Um, really good passer, can really shoot the basketball. Just had some injury issues. Only played 9 games last year. But big energy guy, mentality, loves to play defense. He's got that dog in him, as they like to say. If you uh, if you want to see what Kirk Kriisa is about, Google Kirk Kriisa trash talking Luka Doncic and like the Euros or something. He
Yeah,
gets right up to his face, and it was pretty electric. So that would be an exciting guy to have. And then Sincere Harris, guard from West Virginia. Only averaged 6 points, 4 rebounds per game. He's 6'4". He's not going to be a good offensive player, although I'd like to think he can improve his game. We'll see. But he's here to play defense. He was first team defense, all Big 12 last season. He's probably going to be a John Newman type of guy, guard the best player on the floor. He's able to get around ball screens really efficiently. Another guy who's going to bring that energy and that toughness and physicality that Cincinnati just kind of lacked last year. And so while they're not here to play offense, these two guys, or well, Kriisa can shoot the ball, but Harris is not here to play offense. He's gonna bring the ball up the court, maybe play some two, and guard the best player on the floor. I think you love to have him. So a lot of people on Twitter had mixed emotions about these guys. Oh, they're not going to give us 12, 15 points a game. But yeah, that's you don't need not every guy you bring in from the portal is going to average 15 a game. You need some glue guys, some guys who play defense, who rebound, can pass. Bearcats lacked ball movement last year. So I think they're good pieces overall. They're going to be overlooked, but if they really click like we think they can, I think they'll be really solid additions. And then obviously, Tim, as you mentioned, Dan Skilling's entering the portal, Rayvon Griffith entering the portal, and Josh Reed just entered the portal about 30 minutes ago,
oh,
roughly.
that's
So
tough.
yeah, um, I'll just give my thoughts. Dan, obviously, this was his 3rd year. He was probably our best player last season as a sophomore. Obviously, this year did not pan out. Did kind of dealt with some knee injuries early on. Didn't really pan out. He's kind whether he lacked motivation or the effort, say whatever you want. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I thought the fans kind of treated him unfairly. He did a lot for this Bearcats program in his 3 years. Kind of like one of Wes's first recruits, so it was awesome to have him. It stinks that he's not gonna be a Bearcat anymore, but I wish him nothing but the best. Obviously, Rayvon, obviously growing up in Cincinnati, me and you, Tim, just a year younger than he is. And I remember hearing, oh, this kid from Euler grade school, oh, next LeBron James plays AAU with Bronny and
Yeah.
Gabe Cupps and all these kids. And when he came into Cincinnati, I was so excited. And then his just offensive game is just not where it needs to be in the Big 12, which is unfortunate because I think he could really be someone who could thrive. But he showed some flashes, scored 8 points against UCF in the Crown game, seven against West Virginia earlier this year. Had some big moments in the Ohio State scrimmage early on, but just never really found his footing. And I think, wow, technically he's going to be a sophomore next year because of his red shirt. It'll be his third year. I think it's smart for him to look somewhere else to get playing time because he was a top 70 guy out of high school. But he did say there's option to return to UC. So I guess it depends what else they do in the portal, what other people are going to offer him. So I just think it all depends. And Josh Reed, I haven't really heard much, but he's just, I don't know, his game isn't totally polished for Big 12 in my opinion. And if Wes is looking to be good, save his job, I think you kind of got to find someone else for Reed's position. And I think Reed can have some really good playing time somewhere else. So I think it's probably best for both sides on that front, but I'm sad to lose all the guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I was less disappointed about the Dan Skillings, even though he has played great for the Cincinnati Bearcats team over his 3 years.
Hmm.
Um, I just felt like the the after he was benched, he it just didn't seem the same from him. Um, I don't think it was effort. I don't ever think it was effort. I think it was more lack of confidence at the beginning
Hmm.
of when he came off the bench. You could see him passing the ball and it a lot of turnovers, and then it just turned into a sort of carelessness in a way. But
Yeah.
obviously, he's a great player. He'll do great wherever he ends up going.
Hmm.
And then Rayvon was pretty tough because I don't know. He that
Hometown kid.
name combo, Jizzle James, Rayvon, Griffin, Day Day Thomas. I mean, those are just like great names.
Yeah.
Have to have those guys on the team, but it's whatever. They'll find other great players and replacements for them.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what they can do next year. Always get your hopes up. Sometime and most of the time it doesn't work out, but
Yeah.
that's the essence of being a Cincinnati sports fan, though.
Yes, it is. Even Xavier's gonna have to rebuild as well too. They've
They
got
have
some new
two players
transfers.
on their roster. Now they have about four or five, but they
Mhm.
had two scholarship players going into the uh, Richard Pitino era. So
Yeah.
it's going to be
Mhm.
interesting. Seeing Ryan Conwell go to Louisville, that is going to be, they
Yeah.
have their guards are stacked. I think they might have the best guard in the country next year.
Yeah,
That's
they
ridiculous.
clearly have a ton of NIL money. Obviously, Louisville not too far down the road from the city of Cincinnati, but they got, I believe his name is Adrian Woolley, transfer from Kennesaw State.
Mhm.
I think when he entered the portal, he was number 5 in the portal according to 24/7. He's still right around there. He's a consensus top 10 player in the portal. And this is how you know NIL. It like Louisville clearly is all in on basketball for NIL. Adrian Woolley averaged, I want to say 15 plus a game, maybe 6 rebounds, but whatever. Really good guard. He's from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, an Alabama team, 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, just made the Elite Eight. Really good. Nate Coach,
Wow.
awesome. Sending kids to the league. He's from Tuscaloosa. Went to Paul
That's
Bear Bryant High School.
that's
Doesn't
crazy.
even take a visit to Alabama, just commits to Louisville.
That's
So
crazy.
clearly, Pat Kelsey and the Cardinals there are cooking with fire. But I
Now,
mean,
obviously,
that
that 5 star out of high school, what's his
Mikael
name?
Brown, yeah,
Yeah, Michael Brown. Yeah,
it's
McDonald's
crazy.
All-American. That
Yeah,
guy's gonna be tough too.
yeah, they'll be good next year, I think.
Yeah, definitely guard play indicates that.
Hmm
So it'll be
Actually,
interesting what
speaking of
they can
which,
do.
former Saint X standout Kobe Rogers is on Louisville. Maybe he'll get some. He medically redshirted this year, so he's got 1 year of eligibility left. I think next year. So hopefully he gets a good amount of playing time for the Cardinals. That'd
That
be
would
pretty
be
cool to see.
nice. That would be nice. He's a great player.
He
He's
is
done nothing but win. And
exactly.
so obviously starting out as D2 national champion and then goes to um Charleston and then he ends up at Louisville, which was pretty cool to see him just keep on rising up the ranks and
Hmm
seeing what he does. This is a unplanned thing I just thought of, but if you what is like the worst NBA player that you could put on like a mid-major and they would go on to win the national championship? That's something that I've always kind of pondered, like not the worst, but like you know what I mean, like of the best guys, like
Well, that's tough to say.
I think it has to be a big.
I feel like too, but because even like obviously Houston just beat Duke, but like Duke, they've got what people would consider they've already got three NBA lottery picks, right?
Yeah.
So was one really going to be enough? It's like a tough question to ask. It's like could
I
Montenverde's
think
high school?
Giannis could totally do it.
I
Like,
think so. He seems like way too big and athletic for anyone to be guarding him.
yeah,
That's fair. Are
I
you
feel
seeing
like
like
any of the top three players in the league could
mhm.
do it. I think um Jokic could definitely do it.
Yeah, Jokic, I
He's
feel like it's
way
one.
too skilled. I
That's
think
tricky.
I think Shea would have a good shot at doing that. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
It's a good question. It's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, it's
I
interesting
think
to think about.
I think LeBron, although LeBron's older now, maybe LeBron from a couple years ago would be more likely. Although LeBron would still
Still
put up good.
averaging the same shit he's
Yeah,
done.
you're right.
He's stupid. He's just stupid. Yeah. I think it's so funny. He's averaged 27, 7, and 7 his entire career, but has never had a 27, 7, and 7 game
Really? Oh,
in his
that's funny.
entire career, which is
Jeez,
kind of nuts.
didn't know that.
But
Hmm.
Steph can do it.
Yeah, that run
Um,
he had with Davidson was something. I
yeah.
wasn't really old enough to watch that, but
I don't know why he passed that, man. What if against Kansas he doesn't
yeah,
pass that ball?
yeah, that's true.
Um, and then we can finish it out with the Reds. Not much to talk about here.
Just
Um,
disappointment. I mean, where were we like a couple weeks ago? We were like
just smiling
hyping
on
it
this.
up, and
Yeah.
they're 3-7.
3-7. Not where I expected to be. Uh, it's really funny. I was listening to Chatterbox Sports and they're talking about how like the Brewers are throwing out their like 15th starting pitcher because they have like their starting pitcher rotation is like so hurt right now that they literally threw out and I think they threw out like a 20-year-old last night. Like just like from AAA, and he goes 5 2/3 scoreless. Like that's how bad Reds hitting is.
I mean, yeah, it's I don't even know. I mean, let's see. Let's average
There's no
wise,
bright spots except starting pitching. That's it.
not exactly. I mean, let's see. I mean, let's look here. Ellie's got the most at bats. He's hitting 250. He's got 11 strikeouts though, so he's doing fantastic. TJ Friedel's got 38 at bats. He's batting 289. But I mean, Candelario 171, CES 182, Lux 219, McLean 214, Jake Fraley. Can we talk about Jake Fraley, please?
Yeah, he's sucked. I'm kind of off that bandwagon, that's for
I
sure.
mean, what was he doing
Send
in the
him down.
outfield? the other day when it just went right underneath him, and then he like jogs to the fence like a like. I mean, we can't field ground balls in the outfield, and we're in the MLB. I mean, come on, get Will Benson out there. I mean, this is
I
ridiculous.
agree. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but please go get Will Benson. He's been crushing the ball in
He was hitting
AAA.
like 4.44 last I checked. It's ridiculous.
Every
Like,
time we send him back down to AAA, he starts crushing the ball again. So hopefully that helps his confidence level and starts to translate because my God, the Reds players need to start hitting better. It's horrible. How bad is I mean, I know he's injured, but how bad has Spencer Steer been?
I mean, he's hitting 0.83. He, he's, it's like I saw something like his average exit velocity right now is like 85 miles, so like something like that. It's just like first of all, hit the
Uh,
weight room, but like,
that's
geez.
so bad.
What are your thoughts on Francona? I feel like some people are upset, like they think it's like his fault, like with like the pitching situation against whoever they played the Giants. That was like, do you think he's handling this well, or is it just like too young in the season? I mean, obviously we're only 10 games in.
I'm
We got
not
152
I
left.
haven't been the biggest fan of Tito so far, but I think they'll be able to turn it around. It's just a
Famous last
matter
words.
of it's just a matter of starting to hit the ball better because God, we have the we have a top five ERA in the league from starting pitching.
Not what we
So
thought would be our
so
strong
annoying.
suit either.
So annoying. Three straight 1-0 games. I literally texted my friend Jacob and said if they lose a fourth straight game 1-0, I will shave my head bald. Luckily,
Oh,
they did not.
I would have been rooting for that, to be honest.
God,
It's
man,
it's frustrating.
it is a very frustrating season.
I think they're back out in San Francisco now. They're playing the Giants again, I think. That's what
I
I saw.
hate that. Why do they do? They need to separate those series. Like they always do them within 2 weeks of each other.
Yeah,
I know I'm going on an MLB rant, but like, God,
they've
mostly
got
Reds.
three at San Francisco, and then three home against Pittsburgh, and then three home against Seattle as the next three series. So I think we can make up some ground, especially in that home stand against Pittsburgh and Seattle. But yeah, I don't know.
Cubs 7-5, Brewers 5-5, Cardinals at 4-5, Reds 3-7, the Pirates also 3-7.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
oh man,
not good.
just need
And
to.
it's crazy. We have a +1 run differential as well.
Yep, yep.
Still positive, and we've lost seven
It's
games.
because I mean we either score 10 plus or zero runs.
Score. Yeah.
So, well, I think that'll end up the Cincy Sports Pod. It's nice talking about national championship as well as Cincy transfer portal and the very disappointing Reds. We'll see you next time on Cincy Sports Pod. That's all from Tim Kraft and Jack Snyder.